You know, it's so easy to tell when someone has been elevated for the wrong reasons. They eventually get exposed because they cannot handle criticisms because they have not had the correct path or the correct journey to get to the platform that they are at. I'm sitting here as someone who has a website and has a fairly successful YouTube channel over at Geeks and Gamers. We have about 280,000 subs. My personal channel has about 40,000 subs, and this one just hit 60,000 subs. And through all of that, through all of the mistakes I have made with Geeks and Gamers from when I created it back in 2012, all of the changes, all of the ways I've behaved online when I got criticism, all of the interactions I have had and how I've learned to deal with criticism over the years has put me to the point where I'm at, and I've still got a lot to learn. But I have went through a lot to get to where I am, and I got here through hard work. I didn't have money. I've lost a ton of money. I worked a bunch of retail jobs, shitty retail jobs, dead-end jobs, just so I could continue to have some type of flexibility in my schedule so I could create this thing called Geeks and Gamers. And here we are, and I've seen pretty decent success for my standards, and we still have a long ways to go, but it has built me to deal with what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, we have someone like Maria Taylor at ESPN who has been elevated and she does have a few qualifications. She has definitely earned the right to have the position she has, but she has been elevated to another level because she is an attractive woman. Hot chick privilege is a real thing. It is an absolute real thing, and if you say it's not, then you are either lying or you're too stupid to understand the real world that we live in. But hot chick privilege trumps all privilege. It absolutely does. There is no denying this, so don't even try. Now, Maria Taylor faced criticism because she decided to leave Anthony Davis off of the All-NBA team 1, 2, or 3. She faced criticism, and instead of explaining why she did what she did or just owning the whole situation, she decides to play the victim because of course, you want equality, you want to be treated as an equal, but the moment that you get treated as an equal, you cry and whine and play the victim because you have not been built to deal with this moment because you have been elevated because you are an attractive woman. Jason Whitlock has decided to call that out, and he calls it out in the most beautiful way possible. Now, again, I like Maria Taylor. She's had some takes that I really don't care for. She's definitely for the BLM movement. She's went after Drew Brees for all of that nonsense that happened a few months ago. She's got a lot of nonsense that she pushes. She loved her picture of President Obama. I bet she wouldn't do the same thing if she had a President Trump picture. Of course, she would never take a picture of President Trump because she's all about her agenda. She's not one of these people that can just look at the office of the President of the United States and respect the office. It's all about the narrative that can be built around it. And that's what aggravates me about people like her. Now, we get to what's going on with her. Jason Whitlock and Katie Nolan has entered the equation as well. Maria Taylor can continue on as the unicorn if she avoids nailing herself to the same cross as Michelle Beadle and Jamel Hill. Maria Taylor enjoys the exact same privilege that catapulted Erin Andrews to television stardom. Taylor is tall, attractive, and quite personable on television. Her career as a collegiate volleyball and basketball player at Georgia adds to her credibility as a sideline reporter and NBA host. 100% spot on. Agree with everything he says right there. But let's not kid ourselves. The 33-year-old Taylor would not be the host of NBA Countdown, nor would she vote on the league's most prestigious awards if she were short, unattractive, and grumpy. 100% spot on. Jason Whitlock, at age 33, 43, or 53, could not get any of the jobs ESPN has handed to Taylor. Neither could a long list of highly qualified female journalists who I will not name. Beauty, most especially in television, has a privilege that trumps virtually all other privileges. Beauty intoxicates television executives, bloggers, and journalists, and it masks a lack of accomplishment, qualification, and skill. Beauty transformed Katie Nolan from a bartender to a 7-figure personality. Emmy Award winner and the darling of aroused bloggers and TV critics willing to ignore her pedestrian humor and inability to execute live television. I bring all of this up because the most talented young female sports TV host, Maria Taylor, is in the process of undermining her meteoric rise by wallowing in victimhood. Taylor forgot to name Lakers center Anthony Davis to her first, second, or third All-NBA ballot box. Fox Sports radio host Doug Gottlieb criticized Taylor's gaffe, asking an obvious question. Why does Marie Taylor have a vote? Gottlieb tweeted, real question. She is a studio host sideline reporter in her first year covering the NBA. She works a ton, not just on the league. No reason for her to have a vote. Gottlieb's question is legitimate, and it's not mean-spirited. Taylor responded to Gottlieb's tweet defiantly. Because I played basketball. I cover the league, and I deserve everything I've worked hard for. As it relates to NBA voting privileges, Taylor hasn't worked hard for that. The super woke NBA gifted Taylor the privilege because ESPN fast-tracked Taylor into the job of NBA Countdown host. The NBA would rather hand a high-profile female journalist an opportunity rather than have her earn it for several years of credible work. 100% spot on. Exactly what I said. You know, if you elevated me when I first started Geeks and Gamers, when we had, 500 subs, and again, the main Geeks and Gamers channel for like 4 years had less than 1,000 subs. So if you elevate me to get the attention I get now without having the process of getting to where I am through the work, then I wouldn't know how to handle a lot of these things. And that's what's happening to her. It's a combination of female privilege and beauty privilege in the age of the matriarchy. Let me clarify my long-held position on Maria Taylor. She's the most talented person to hold ESPN's coveted college game day sideline job. She's an on-air natural. Unlike Andrews, who is a terrific sideline reporter, Taylor is also a skilled host. There's nothing on television Taylor cannot do. She's a unicorn. The only thing that can stop Maria Taylor from enjoying a long, successful television career is if she goes the path of Michelle Beadle and starts taking herself way too seriously. For the most part, people watch people on TV who they believe share their values and sensibilities. TV executives call it likability. When a consumer turns on television, they're inviting hosts into their homes. People do not consistently invite angry people into their homes. Sports fans don't invite non-sports fans into their home when they want to enjoy sports. Beadle made it obvious she doesn't like sports or sports fans, particularly football fans. She thinks they're stupid and ist. The same mistake Jamel Hill made. I never questioned whether Taylor likes sports. I'm starting to question whether she likes sports fans. This is a danger of sports hosts wearing their Twitter-approved political, racial point of view on television and across social media. You decrease and limit your audience. You serve a niche. You pander to the Twitter mob that foolishly tries to end isms with isms. A week ago, an unknown Chicago shock jock, Dan McNeil, tweeted criticism of an outfit Taylor wore as a Monday Night Football sideline reporter. On her subsequent NBA Countdown show, Taylor played the victim and Jalen Rose gave her flowers as a show of support. It was all a narcissism-driven mistake. Far less than 1% of her Countdown audience would even recognize McNeil's name, and even fewer still knew of his tweet criticizing Taylor. But Taylor is starting to take herself quite seriously. She wrongly believes any criticism of her is an example of systemic misogyny and racism. The blue check mark media fuels her delusion. Gottlieb's Fox Sports colleague, Rachel Bonetta, attacked him over his Taylor tweet. Doug, do you ever write a tweet and think, maybe not? This should have been one of those times because it comes across as extremely ist and quite ignorant. And it just continues on about all of that. And the entire point here is, I believe, just like Whitlock believes, I have always liked Maria Taylor. I've always liked her. I'm a college football fan. So I watch college football religiously. I've seen Maria Taylor for years on the college game day. I've seen her interviewing, coaches after games. I remember the whole dust-up she had when Nick Saban popped off at her. And she actually handled that like a champ in the moment. She absolutely did. But when you start getting into this territory where you can't handle criticism from a colleague like that, it says a lot. She's getting way too defensive and she's pulling the victim card. And she's pulling the victim card pretty often recently. And it's a joke. And again, this all comes down to hot chick privilege. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And now there's more to the story with Katie Nolan getting involved and everything like that. And to add to that, because Katie Nolan responded Whitlock, I guess Whitlock's going to respond to her. But then to add to this, Anthony Davis dropped the game-winning shot tonight in the Western Conference Finals. And that's just going to add to her being questioned about, how did you leave this dude off? How? How did you leave AD off? And he hit the game winner. This is beautiful. Yelled Kobe after hitting the game winner, which is pretty awesome. Here's her responding: because I played basketball, I cover the league, and I deserve everything I've worked for. Got almost 100,000 likes, by the way. And here's somebody says, that's great, but please explain your reasoning for leaving Anthony Davis off. And it says the worst part is she won't even explain why she left AD out, much less the issue of him a personal apology of doing him wrong. No, she resorts to playing the gender card and being defended by simps. I mean, this is what happens when you've been elevated and coddled by an industry of wokeness. And again, I think she's talented. I think that she's good at what she does. But it's clear that she can't take criticism, especially from a fellow colleague like Doug Gottlieb. So we're going to continue to see how this all plays out. It's very interesting. It's very entertaining. I love watching this. I love watching woke ESPN personalities, the ones that want to preach all of these politics to us. Because let's go back to Maria Taylor. Look at her pinned post. Look at her pinned post. That's her pinned post right there. Okay? That's her pinned post. You love your politics, okay? Would you take the same picture with President Trump? No, you would not. Would I take a picture with President Obama if I had the opportunity? Absolutely. And I supported Obama for his first term because I was so anti-George W. Bush. I was so against the Republicans at that particular time. But once it got to like Obama's 5th or 6th year, it was pretty obvious to me that he was destroying this country. But I still, if I have an opportunity to take a picture with the President of the United States, I would, and I wouldn't hide from it. Would Maria Taylor take a picture with President Trump? Of course she wouldn't, because she's woke. She is completely woke. She's good at what she does, but she's woke. It's just like LeBron. LeBron's great at what he does, but he is woke. So we're going to continue to see how this all plays out. Very interesting stuff. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Shout out to the Outkick guys for just continuing to kick ass and take names. I love it. We're doing our thing over here in Sports Wars. Black and White Sports is doing their thing over there. It's great to have non-woke people covering the nonsense in the sports media and the sports world. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.